Onto the Russia-Ukraine war now. Ukraine says that a Russian attack on a village in the Kharkiv region killed 10 people. The regional governor said that the Russian forces carried out a rocket strike on the village, which is around 40 kilometers from the Russian border. The strikes hit a busy intersection, a location with a post office and stores surrounded by residential buildings. Video showed bodies of the victims covered with emergency blankets and rescuers working amid destroyed buildings, smoldering rubble and cars reduced by fire to charred shells. In a social media post, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has promised a response for the attack. Amid the drone attacks, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha and his Belgian counterpart Maxime Prévost were forced to hold talks in an underground shelter as an air alert blared out in Kyiv. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces staged one of their biggest drone attacks on Russia, firing almost 800 drones just 2 days after launching a similar salvo, as one of the strikes even killed one person and wounded 17 others. Well, most of the deceased were members of the staff at the Russian-controlled Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant, and the warring countries are currently locked in an escalating duel of long-range aerial strikes as fighting on the roughly 1,250-kilometer front line in eastern and southern Ukraine, it is restricted by large numbers of drones and ground robots threatening troop movements. As the conflict continues, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warned that Russia had the right to regard the direct involvement of British-made weaponry in strikes on Russian territory as British participation in the war in Ukraine. His comments came after the Times newspaper reported that British-made drones had been used for long-range strikes against Russia for the very first time.
This means only one thing. The President, Vladimir Putin, warned about our right to act in any area of the ocean if someone encroaches on our interests and our property, ships. Similarly, we have the right to consider this proudly declared direct involvement of British missile forces in strikes against the Russian Federation as UK's direct involvement in the war with all the ensuing consequences.
Following the warning from Moscow, UK Prime Minister Andy Burnham said that Britain will support Ukraine 100% against Russia and remain at its side in its hour of need.
This is the UK doing what it has long said it would do, which is to support Ukraine 100% against this illegal war led by Vladimir Putin. We are providing support so that Ukraine can defend itself, and that's been the British position all the way through this conflict by previous Prime Ministers. It remains the case with me. We are not fair weather friends. We will be there in Ukraine's hour of need, and that won't change.
So far, Britain's Ministry of Defence has not confirmed whether British drones had been used. Although, according to the Sunday Times, one of the companies involved is a subsidiary of defence giant BAE Systems. The UK has been one of Ukraine's strongest backers, committing around $33 billion in support, including over $16 million in military aid. In terms of military assets, it has provided Ukraine with Storm Shadow missiles, but the supply is finite and the range is only around 155 miles. In April, the UK announced the biggest ever drone package for Ukraine, delivering at least 120,000 drones for Ukraine this year, which even includes long-range strike drones, intelligence and reconnaissance drones.